Ryan here with the Start Guys, and we have a Start story today. And we are, well, let me introduce to you first Sharon Allen. Say hi, Sharon.
Hi.
I have been traveling with Sharon through Kenya for the last week, and we are in the Nairobi airport getting ready to fly to Frankfurt, Germany for 8 hours. And then from there, we're going to go to Chicago, and then you're off to New Mexico, and I'm off to Denver to go back home to see some babies. It has been an incredible week, and I have watched Sharon come alive this week. We knew each other briefly through Facebook before coming to Africa, but I've asked her to share her story because it was so, I wish y'all could have seen it. It was so powerful to see her come alive with this library project that we've been doing, and I'm going to have her talk about that. Sharon is a former elementary school teacher, kindergarten teacher. She just retired last year at about exactly a year ago. And here she is retired and doing these incredible things, and I want you to hear the story because don't ever let retirement tell you you can't do incredible things and start taking steps in your life. So Sharon, tell us what your big is, how you found it, and how you went after it in retirement.
Okay, well, it started with probably 5 years ago when I knew that I'd be retiring in the not too distant future. And as a kindergarten and also first grade teacher for 30 years, I had collected a very large library of children's books, and I love children's books. And as a primary teacher, I'm very involved in teaching children how to read, and I think that's really important that kids learn how to read, but also that they enjoy the learning. So I wanted to do something with those library books, and I had taken a trip to Africa about 5 years ago, and I went to visit a few schools, and I knew at that point that I always had in the back of my mind, I want to get my library books to Africa, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. So when the end of the year came, I packed up my stuff and cried about leaving school and took them home. And then I started looking on the internet for a place to send my books. And I had in my mind this very specific idea that I didn't just want to turn the books over and that was the end of it. I wanted to know where those books were going. And so I called a number of different organizations and found out that most places that send books to Africa want your money, want your books, and then you say bye-bye, and that's the end of it. Well, after saying to a few places, no, I don't think this is going to work for me, I was lucky enough to happen upon the African Library Project. And the person who answered the phone was fantastic, and when I said, is there any kind of personal connection I can have, immediately they responded yes. And I knew I had found my match. So
hold on. So I got some questions for you.
All right, go ahead.
Why do you care about things like books and children reading books? Tell us why this is important to you.
Why it's important to me is because education can make a huge difference in the life of a child. And in Africa, where they have very few opportunities, particularly for girls, there's such a high dropout rate. And I know that they have very, very little in the form of resources. So books can truly change lives, and providing these books for children in schools impacts the entire school learning community. And when they have no other resources, those books are going to make a huge difference in the lives of a lot of kids. So that's important to me in my retirement, to know that I haven't just stopped living, that I am continuing to make a difference. And I always felt I did as a teacher, but I wanted to go at it in a different way in my retirement. And I still love kids, I still love the school environment, and so that was really important to me to stay involved with those things.
So tell us a little bit, how many books came to Africa? Let people know how many books, how many libraries, in just a couple of sentences.
Okay, over the past year, I have collected within my community 11,000 books, and that
11,000 books for children in Africa to start libraries.
And that makes 11 libraries.
11 libraries. So the goal is 1,000 book libraries 32 libraries is the goal. That could expand,
Kenya.
right?
For Kenya. Yes, for Kenya.
I want you to tell the story because this was such an impactful day. I spent one of the days with Sharon at this island called Takawiri. We got on this little boat, kind of like a large canoe, and went a few miles to an island where these kids were getting a library for the first time ever, and the school has been there for 30 years. And they came down to the boat and unloaded all these boxes and carried them up to their library, their school. And they had just built these nice shelves. And I wish y'all could have seen Sharon's face. She was just glowing because these were her books that she had watched travel all this way, and you're seeing them start a library. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I can't even tell you. I got chills just talking about it. Watching those kids take those books, put them on their heads. These were heavy boxes of books, 35, 40-pound boxes of books. Put them right up on their heads, climb the rocks, carrying them up the little hills between the fishing nets full of fish, and then to take them to their classroom. Absolutely, I can't explain to you, but it was a thrill of my life. Made it the best day of my life.
I just wish you had more passion about this. Don't y'all think she needs more passion? Hey, tell us what it was like, some of the things you've had to overcome, and what would you say to someone who has just retired maybe, or they're getting ready to retire, and they're saying, well, what am I going to do with myself? My identity has been this thing for the last so many years. Now what am I going to do with myself? I mean, how do you start after retirement? And what are the obstacles you might run into or face?
Well, the few obstacles that I had really were mostly the fundraising, because in addition to sending the 11,000 books each library, it costs $500 to ship it from on the American side and to get it to the African port. So fundraising was a little bit of an issue, but I had a lot of friends, and I did a lot of talking to a lot of people, and involved churches and school kids and funny projects and serious projects, all kinds of things. But if you're retired, you need to do something. Don't sit around. You'll be bored. That's no fun. Find a passion. If you miss your old job, then find something like your old job. If you don't miss your old job and you want a new job, come out and join us, because we have a place for you with Project Humanity. We could use you to help with more libraries, but there's all kinds of opportunities out there for people who are retired, and it will enrich your life beyond measure.
Here's what I love that you're doing. You are using your job, your profession for, how many years were you a teacher? 30 years in a teaching profession with kindergartners and kids, and now you're still using that as a tool to keep going. And I think other people, if you're watching this video, figure out what your passion is. Like Sharon said, figure out the thing that is just in here. Yeah, what do you love? Say it, preach it.
What do you love?
What do you love?
Do you love?
Go do it.
What means something to you? Find yourself a place and fit in. The internet is a great resource because you can search for anything. If you want to help with natural resources or the environment, if you want to help with saving animals, it doesn't have to. It
doesn't always have to be. Coming to Africa is kind of big. Not everyone's going to do that.
Not everybody.
But figure out what you're passionate about. Figure out what you did is said, how can I take books that I love and give them to the people who need it most? I mean, what a great question to ask. How can you take the thing you love and inspire people who need inspiring the most? That's what you're doing. I love it. If people want to get in contact with you, say, man, I want to donate some books, or I want to help raise some money, or I want to help do some more libraries, how can they find you?
They can find me on allenfamily926@gmail.com.
On Facebook too? Are you on Facebook?
I'm also on Facebook, Sharon
Yes.
Allen.
All right, Sharon, thanks for joining us. Thank you for your passion. We need more of that in the world. If you're watching this, find your passion and go after it. Whatever it is, find it, because you will have more joy and you will give other people more joy, and you know the world needs a lot more joy. Thank you, Sharon. We're out. We'll see you next time.